Welcome to Born for the Trades, a home service podcast, and I'm your host, Mandeep. Today, we have our amazing guest, Brigham Dickinson, the president of Power Selling Pros and the founder of Power Certification Program. Brigham has helped home service businesses master the art of call handling, guaranteeing on 85% booking rate while creating wow experiences for customers. Since 2009, he has been training call handling teams across the US, Canada, and Australia with a proven system that blends coaching, accountability, and real world training. Brigham, welcome to our show again.
Wow, Mandeep, I couldn't have said it better myself. That was good.
I know. I think last time we were at the event, right, where we had like
Hmm.
first episode with you guys, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a nice break from a busy event. It was good to be able to sit down and have a chat with my
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, absolutely. How is everything? How is business? How is Power Selling Pros? How's life?
Wrestling Pros is doing well. I would say that in at the end of 2023, we had just under 900 trainees in our program. We train CSRs one on one twice a month using their own phone calls, and we do the coaching over the phone as well as via Zoom. We want to work with their comfort level. Some are okay with Zoom, others have bad hair days, and we do it over the phone. So
Yeah.
it all depends on them. But we're just under 900 at the end of 2024. We had, by my count, over 1,200 trainees in our program.
Wow.
So we are doing very, very well. CSRs are getting the attention that they need, not just CSRs, but CSRs, dispatchers, lead coordinators, anybody inside the office that interacts with the customer over the phone is working with us more and more and more. So it's fantastic to be able to work with them and help them get the success and the results that they want.
That's amazing. And to the listeners, I'm sure you know Brigham, and if you don't know, you should check out the website as well. And I have met Brigham at a lot of events. Good speaker,
Yeah.
sharing knowledge, wealth with everyone, home service industry. Let's dive into some more, I would say, journey with the new stuff happening. Can you explain what the Power Certification Program is and how it helps contractors?
Yeah. So there are four levels of certification, and it's a bit of a university. It takes
Mm-hmm.
about a year and a half to complete.
Oh,
Most people stay on after that first year and a half. And what we do, in addition to monitoring their calls and coaching them, is we take them through four levels of certification. And by the time we're done, we guarantee they'll be at least at 85% calls versus set appointments. Now, an 85% call conversion should be a given, right?
mm-hmm.
Most companies that we work, I mean, according to Service Titan, the average call conversion for a heating and cooling company is around 42%.
Okay.
Most
Oh,
people that are working on their business are better than 42%. So if they're spending time listening to podcasts like this, I would say that their average is probably a little bit higher. Say it's around 60%. So we take that 60%, and just to give you an idea, Mandeep here, let's just do some quick math.
sure.
And this will help me better explain the value of the certification program, four levels of certification with Power Sling Pros and Power Coaching, of course. Well, let's say that your average ticket for a service call is $500. Now I
Mm.
realize that in our industry, service calls could be a whole lot higher than that.
Yeah.
And if we're talking replacement, well, then it's a whole lot higher than that, right? So,
Right.
but for the sake of simple math, let's just say it's $500. Now, let's say that a CSR takes in 30 calls a day. Now, if a CSR, a dispatcher, a lead coordinator is listening to this podcast, they're going, dude, I take a whole lot more than 30 calls a day.
Mm.
And I'm just simply saying, of course you do, but we
Yeah.
want to keep it really conservative. Okay. So let's say
Right.
you've got 30 phone calls, and if you're only booking 60%, that means you're booking 18 out of 30.
Right.
All right. So we take 18 and we times it by that average service ticket. We're not even thinking about replacement. Let's just talk about service. Okay. So $500 times 18 is $4,500 a day, if my math's right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So $4,500 a day. That's all fine and good. And that's the strength and weakness of our industry. The strength of our industry is that we can still only book 60% of our calls and make money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
strength, but it's also a weakness because we can do a whole lot more. We can do a whole lot better. So, and I'll let everybody listening on this podcast do their own math. But if you take that $4,500 and let me make sure I'm doing the math here. Nine
I,
five, yeah,
I think it's more than that. What happened to my math? So
yeah.
it's
What
like
happened to
eight.
my math?
I think it's 9,000. My bad.
You're right. It's 9,000. But then you times it by five, which is 5 days in a week, and then you get your 45,000. I skipped a number.
Oh, no, you get.
Am I right?
Yep.
Times it by 5 days in a week. We're not even counting Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we're not counting those. Yeah.
Yeah. Any mathematician listening to this podcast is going to be like screaming, "No, it's you guys don't even know what I'm talking about." Yeah. So yeah, you're totally right. I was just testing you, actually, Mandeep.
Oh,
Just kidding.
really? Okay.
No. So 45,000 a week. Well, you take that number. Let's say that there's 52 weeks. There are 52 weeks in a year, but let's say that you only work 50 out of those 52 weeks. So let's just times the 45,000 times 50, and you get something like 2.2 million. You're a $2.2 million company. Like I said, you're doing great. You're doing fine. You're making great revenue. Now let's do the same math at 85%, which is where of course, we guarantee you'll be at least 85% by the time we're done. We give your money back. We've had thousands go through the program. Never once have we had to get money back because we get it there without a problem. It's a given. It's a guarantee. So at 85%, you're booking 25.5 calls instead of 18.
Wow. We did the math with like 60% before, right? And now 80 with 85.
Now at 85.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do the math again. So we have 25.5 calls out of 30 that we book because we're booking 85% of our phone calls. We take 25.5 and we times it by our average ticket, which is $500 for a service call. I'm not even talking about replacement. Now we're looking, instead of $9,000 a day, we're looking at $12,750 a day.
50, yeah. Close to 13 grand.
That's right. Times it by five. We're making 63 instead of 45.
Mm.
Times that by 50. Now we're a $3 million shop instead of a $2 million shop. That is per CSR.
And that's per CSR, not like
per CSR. Yeah, exactly. So essentially, I mean, I'll tell you the math right now. We charge $3,600 a year for coaching twice a month.
That's it.
So exactly. So if you were to get $1 million for $3,600, you'd do that all day long, and twice on Christmas. So that's the idea. Now we have our own call center as well. It's called Booked. Booked by PSP.com is how you find it. The only reason why I bring it up is because they all are regularly coached by our team at Power Selling Pros. So the Book team is trained by the Power Selling Pros team, one-on-one, twice a month, using their own phone calls, and they book 93% of their calls.
Wow, and no AI involved.
It's just no AI involved.
Human
beings. Now, I would say that on nights and weekends, if there is overflow, Booked is overflow, right? For nights and weekends. But if they get inundated, we absolutely have AI backing us up. But you bring up a very good question. I wonder how much that changes the numbers if AI has to pick it up.
Yeah,
because I will say this. Yeah. I will say this, that we've had a total of 6 clients that booked call us and let us know that they're switching to AI.
Okay.
And all 6 of those have come back. So they've all come back to Booked. They tried it. It didn't work. The bottom line is AI is not there yet. It's just not there yet. And until then, it's really important for us to have humans that are supported by AI. The really cool thing that I'm excited about is the AI technology that we're incorporating right now at Power Selling Pros, where we have the ability to, right after that call is done, have AI go through it, scrub it, determine exactly what's missing from the performance of that CSR, and give immediate feedback to the CSR.
That's amazing.
Based on their performance.
Yeah. It goes back to our sponsor Rilla, and they're crushing it. Technicians go out, records everything, and come back and give feedback to them. So that's amazing that you are implementing AI with whatever, right, cutting edge technology. And it's not other companies, they call it like they're doing AI, but you have to make it simplistic, for everyone, not complicated. And like you said, AI is not there yet, but what technology, what are the changes happening, and when can we see this AI with power selling pros?
Yeah, well, we've already got it inside, helping us with quality
Quality.
conversion and with call conversion, and making it easier for us to provide feedback almost in real time. Obviously, it won't be in real time because you and I are talking in real time. We'll get the feedback right after, right? Because why? We're talking.
Yeah.
so while you're on the call with a customer, we want you to be completely focused and zeroed in. We don't want a little whisper. Sometimes people put a little whisper on the call, so somebody's
Mm,
whispering in your ear while you're talking to a customer. I am not about that at all. I want you completely focused in on that relationship that you're building with the customer. But
love it.
right after, we can be providing feedback. And yes, we have technology now that we're incorporating here at PowerSling Pros that gives us the ability to do that. And it's very exciting, something that we're looking forward to
That's
using.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I think it will be great, like, to let like your customers know, and obviously like, other home service industry, like what's coming. I think I'm excited for that. How does your approach differ from traditional call center training programs, and why do you believe it's more effective for the trades industry?
I would say that more than anything, it has to do with experience. You see,
Experience.
I started in a call center in the industry. I was with a company called Arctic Air. I answered the phones for years. I booked calls. I wowed customers. I was very good. I
I'm
was
sure.
very good over the phone. And I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And funny thing, when I left Arctic Air, started my own marketing company, I had clients that said, "Hey, some of these leads we can't book." And I said, "What do you mean?" Well, they just want a ballpark price. They just want to know what you charge to come out. They just want to talk to a technician.
Yeah.
Side note, those are the calls that AI has difficulty booking.
Hmm.
If those who use AI were smart, they'd have it programmed so that the minute somebody said, "Hey, I'm just looking for a ballpark price," immediately transfer them to a live operator.
Live operator.
Yeah. So AI gets it. Hey, I've got a AI receives it. Hey, I'm just looking for a ballpark price. All right, let me put you in touch with a live operator or with a live representative. All right, that sounds a bit better. With a live representative, transfer them over and let them handle it. It was those types of calls that I was getting in the beginning, where the client of mine, the contractor, said, "Your leads, they're just very difficult to book. They're
Right.
they're they're price shoppers."
Right. And it's going to be custom pricing for them. Like, you cannot have like, fixed price for that. It has to be transferred to a live operator, CSR, to handle that. So, yeah,
Yeah,
agree.
exactly. So once they receive it, they have the ability to handle it if they've got the right training. So in order to keep my accounts, I needed to train my clients' CSRs.
Yeah.
So I did that for free for the first company that I was working with, Troy Nearings Plumbing and Heating. But then a few weeks later, his call conversions were going up,
Mhm.
and he increased his advertising as opposed to canceling it.
Mhm.
And then he referred me to Tom Robichaud, Precision Plumbing in Boulder, Colorado. And Tom said, "Hey, come train my team." I said, "Yeah, but I need to do your advertising, train your CSRs." And he said, "No, I've got that covered, but I'll pay you to train my CSRs." And I thought, "Oh, I can get paid for this."
Yeah.
And
That's how your
so
journey started, right?
that's right. That's right. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, but it never fails when a CSR. Let me do it this way.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to a contractor and I ask them, "How often do you train your techs?" And they go, "Oh my gosh, it's like a badge of honor. I train them every day. Every day they get training,"
Impossible.
which is fine. And then I simply ask, "Cool, how often do you train your CSRs?" Crickets. Most business owners do not have the time or wherewithal to give their CSRs the attention they've been given their techs. And
Wow.
so, in most cases, we have the ability to go in and provide the support and the training that they need so that call conversions are up. Like I said, I mean, let's talk about Tommy Mello for a quick second.
Yeah.
So we trained Tommy Mello's team. 65 CSRs. Last year, we got them up to 89%. That company is so big.
Right.
A 1% increase in call conversion equals 18 million a year
Wow.
in additional revenue.
Wow. Massive. This is massive.
So now they're at 92% calls
Nine,
versus set appointments.
92?
Imagine getting 65 people to all perform at that level.
Amazing.
And it's millions and millions of dollars. Tommy and I were on the phone the other day, and he said it was something crazy, like $26 million.
Hmm.
That's what we're talking about. It is the lowest hanging fruit in your business because calls are already coming in. They're already coming in. They're already there. They're already yours. You just need to create such an amazing experience. It's like you're 911 and there's no 912. Help us on the way.
Hmm. Love it.
And we just look. We get better and better at it every day. And you know what? If you mentioned Rilla, it was Rilla that kind of disrupted the industry, right?
Yeah.
With this ability to listen to technicians and provide feedback right after the call is done.
Yeah.
And we thought to ourselves, wait a minute, if we can get this kind of feedback for techs, we should be able to do the same thing for CSRs. And then it became easy.
Yeah.
It was
Exactly.
just a matter of finding the right developer to get it done.
Yep. You got this. You got this. But yeah, that was a great example here. 89% now improved to 92 for Tommy Mello's business and bringing millions of dollars. And I think, these are the low hanging fruit, which is always like, unnoticed. Powerhouse, powerhouse. As Power Selling Pros expands internationally, how have you seen the call handling challenges vary between the US, Canada, and Australia? And what unique strategies do you use to adapt to these differences?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Aside from accent, there isn't much difference. You see, in the beginning, to a customer, to a homeowner, this is a transaction.
Mhm.
And I got to talk to this thing over the phone in order to get my system fixed so I can go on with my life. But the minute you're able to take that transaction and turn it into a relationship, and the way that you do that is you meet them where they are,
Yeah.
right? Where are they at emotionally? If they're frustrated, if they're concerned about how much it's going to cost, if it came as a surprise, you need to meet them emotionally where they are. And we have a team of coaches that are very good at providing the feedback and training on a regular basis to CSRs, dispatchers, lead coordinators, so that they have the ability to meet the homeowner where they are emotionally. As soon as you figure out where they're at emotionally, I don't know if you remember Stephen R. Covey's start with the end in mind principle. And it's so true. You want to start with the end in mind, but your goal here is to start with the homeowner's end in mind.
Mm.
You have to be very clear on what the homeowner wants. And one of the things that coaches are really good at, and we really hone this in, is we take the first minute of that phone call and we find out, like I said, number one, where are you at?
Yeah.
And what do you want? What is your end goal? And once we figure out what the end goal is, then everything else is easy because we stay focused throughout the call on their end goal, right?
Right.
What do you want? It's this. Okay, I'm clear on what you want. Let me make sure I'm clear on what you want. This is what you want? Yes, this is what you want. Cool. Here's how we're going to go about getting what you want. If you do this, you're going to book 90% of your calls.
I want to give a special shout out to Rilla, the sales coaching AI software that holds the technicians accountable and gives them the support and guidance they need to maximize all the opportunities you spend your hard-earned money on.
I want to give special shout out to Grow Reviews, one of our sponsors, America's first platform to capture instant text and video reviews. If a picture is 1,000 words, a video is worth a million. Book a demo with Grow Reviews by visiting website www.growreviews.com, and you can get in touch with their sales reps to book a demo. 100%. And I think this is what, like, I think on the last episode, I interviewed someone and he does like, home forensics. And he is like specialist in, finding out malpractices, like, what's going on. He said the same thing emotionally. You got to connect with homeowners emotionally, showing empathy. What exactly is going on? Let me just look into it and then give you the solution, not just going straight and just selling, right? For the sake of selling. I think power there is definitely power in connecting emotionally. You're 100% right on that.
So the interesting thing is that now with the technology that we've got, and we have the ability to monitor not only CSRs, dispatchers, and coordinators, we also have the ability to monitor technicians.
Mm-hmm.
And many technicians, in fact, all of them, probably already have their own selling system.
Right.
And what we've been able to do when contractors call us in, I've done this myself several times over the last few years where I do ride-alongs with technicians. And the owner has asked me to just focus in on soft skills, my ability to meet the homeowner where they are and find out what they want, right? You start with their end in mind and you kind of take it from there. You do the same thing in the home that we've been teaching for 15 years over the phone.
Right.
It's like a layer of soft skills right over that cell system. Because what's interesting about the cell system is the minute the cell system doesn't work, the technician decides, oh, what I was doing before worked better.
Right.
And they stop using the cell system. And that's a mistake. That's a critical mistake. It's going to affect their income. It's going to affect the company. So what we do is we go back in and we go, okay, use this cell system. It does work. And I've seen them all. Whether it's Joe Cresera, whether it's any affinity group that's in our industry, they work. They work about 70% of the time.
I think
You
soft
can get
skills
it.
are underrated. Yeah.
You got it. You can get it to work the other 30% of the time with better soft skills.
Right. Right. I think it's better to get into this teaching where empathy, emotional intelligence, soft skills, they play a big role over hard skills. Like, and for the sake of just selling hard skills, I think you gotta connect with people, right? We're selling and servicing human beings. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And
if technicians are uncomfortable while in the customer's home, guess who else is uncomfortable? The homeowner. They don't want to be around you. They don't want to be near you. Look, here's the thing with homeowners. And I would say that three things you want to do. First, and I ask technicians this all the time. I say, guys, how do you get kissed on a date? And it's a funny thing. Doesn't matter how it really is. They don't need coffee anymore, right? They're sitting on their seat. They're about to learn something very cool because you and I both know, even if they're married, right? They haven't been kissed in weeks.
Yeah.
So, so very simple. You want to create an environment of comfort,
Yeah.
an environment of safety, and an environment of fun.
Yeah.
Those three things, you have a very good chance of getting kissed on a date if they feel comfortable, they feel safe, and they're having fun.
Exactly.
Trust me. And if you were to ask any female, they would say, yes, that's true. If I'm safe, if I feel comfortable and I'm having fun, yes, of course.
That's
and
amazing.
This is usually where a smart alecky technician pipes up and says, wait a minute, you want us to kiss our customers? No, I don't want you to kiss your customers. But I do want you to create an environment of safety, comfort, and fun. What that means is that you're inside that front door of the home for about 10, maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes, talking about whatever. There's one time where there was Finding Dory on the TV when I got in there. And I said, Finding Dory, because the two kids were watching Finding Dory while the homeowner was at the front door with me, right inside the front door. And the next thing you know, we begin to talk about the message behind Finding Dory. And we were just deep in thought. And the technician was just like, what is happening here? Where's the thermostat? Right? he was dying. And then finally the customer kind of turned his back a little bit and he said, hey, follow me. I want to show you something. And the next thing you know, we get a tour of the entire house. And we're able to find things that we weren't called out to do that we could actually help with.
Right.
So you want to earn that tour, baby.
Yeah.
Right? We saw an inhaler on the coffee table. We could talk about indoor air quality products. There is a room in the back of the house that had a bunch of stuff in it because it's usually warmer or colder during certain times of the year. And they don't ever use that room because it's just uncomfortable. And we had the ability to talk about all those things. And they do plumbing. We were able to talk about it. going in and noticing that the tub has like a ring around it, and of course when you take showers, the water goes up to your ankles, and they just put up with that. They put up
Yeah,
with it, and they
exactly.
never fix it. And so it's that sort of thing. You want to earn the tour, and basically take care of everything while you're there. And what you do is you say to the technician, we're not talking about selling here. This is
Mhm.
just great customer service.
Right.
Take care of everything while you're there.
Creating that like comfortable environment
Yeah.
right there.
Walking around, getting that tour, just be curious, provide options based on your cost. Here's one of the things technicians do is they're minimalists, many of them. So they'll say, oh yeah, you just have to throw some duct tape on that, and it'll
Yeah.
work for 2 weeks longer. No, we don't want to do that. We want to provide all the options and let them decide which option they want. You see, you're a customer for sure, but you're not your customer. So let them decide for the. See, that's what shopping is. That's what a buying environment is. Don't push me into a box, right?
Yeah.
And then you simply get them to yes or no. Help them make a decision while you're there, while you can fix it. Because if you leave, you can't fix it anymore. So help them get to yes or no. Once you explain it to them that way, never once did I say selling.
Hmm.
Now, all of a sudden, technician goes, oh, that's what a good job looks like. Yes.
Yeah.
Did I say anything about selling? No. Did you say anything about selling? No. All we're doing here is create an environment of safety, comfort, and fun. Inside that environment, we earn the tour. We make sure that we're curious about what's going on inside the customer's home while we're getting the tour. We provide options, let them decide which option they want, and we simply get them to yes or no. That's it.
That's amazing. I think this looks like, the ideal environment where like, anything can happen, or you can sell whatever you want. The only thing is that you have to create that environment, get comfortable with the homeowner, and be knowledgeable. And I think this is what I talked about on the last podcast, where people just go there, technicians going out there and fixing, and not like, sharing that knowledge, what exactly is happening with your HVAC or whatever they're fixing it. So that's powerhouse. Thanks for sharing. I love this part that you shared, and the kiss part.
Yeah.
I know to the listeners, don't apply. It doesn't
let
mean
me
that you are going to kiss the homeowner, but yeah, I love that.
let,
That was amazing.
let me give you another example. The next time you go shopping in a mall with your spouse, I know it doesn't happen as often as it used to with Amazon and so on and so forth. But when you do, when you get out there and you're walking around and you're going into the different stores, what I used to do is I would sit in a corner and wait till it was over, or I'd sit outside a store and sit on the bench, look at my phone, and and forget the fact that this is time that I will never in my life get back. Right.
Yeah.
instead, I pay attention in a store with all the ladies in there shopping, what
Mhm.
they're looking at, what they're saying to each other, what's important to them, what's not. You see, your goal is to meet them where they are. How can you possibly do that if you're not paying attention to that customer?
Exactly.
Especially if you see that they're middle aged, they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, and they're chatting up about this or that. And you can be there, you can be in close proximity to overhear the conversation and think, again, your goal is to find out what they want.
Right.
They're in a buying environment. And then you got to keep asking yourself while you're watching them shop, how
Mhm.
can I create this same shopping environment inside the home?
Yeah. Love
It's
it.
a university. A
Yeah.
mall is a university of social learning. Pay attention.
Love it. That's amazing. Powerhouse. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, a lot of like, shopping, kissing analogy, and I know Valentine is coming, so I think that's a perfect episode for our
Got to
audience.
get this out before Valentine's Day.
I love it. Love it. Love it. How do you ensure call handlers are consistently booking calls at such a high rate? I know we touched base on that. Do you want to add something more to it for
Yeah.
my audience?
So the training's got to be there for sure. The ongoing accountability's got to be there. If you don't have time to do it, just get us to do it for you. The other thing that we need to have is incentive.
Incentive.
We got to have incentive, and we've got to have culture. So a culture where there are ways to help me feel good about where I'm at and the job that I have, If there's some sort of that boy built in on a regular basis for your CSRs when they perform at a high level, whether it's shirts, whether it's their favorite drink, I don't know why, but Monsters seem to be super popular in call centers. I see Monsters everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody likes those drinks. A few
Right.
C4s and other things, but Monster seems to be.
I think you were drinking too.
You know what? There's this cream. It's a cream soda. It's
Oh,
called Poppy.
oh, poppy, zero sugar or less sugar, right?
Yeah, it's less sugar, 30 calories, it looks like. But it's supposed to help with your gut. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, no,
My
no.
wife,
Oh,
she loves it. Yeah.
yeah, there's no caffeine in it. I mean, I drink caffeine when I need to, for sure. I do a Spartan race. But boy, that was a total tangent. We squirreled that one, didn't we, Mandeep?
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. What were we talking about? Oh, incentives and culture. Let's talk about culture in a second. Right now,
Yeah.
incentives. The easiest way to get them motivated is to give them ways to make more money inside that department. All right.
Yeah.
So teach them to sell a service agreement on those inbound phone calls. Simple question. Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. This is right after you've booked the call, right?
Right.
Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that we've been out to your home about 3 times in the last 4 years, and you don't have a club membership with us. I'm just wondering why not. Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about it, or it didn't make sense at the time. And I said, well, here's the thing. It prevents things like this, the thing that you're dealing with right now, from happening. I don't want you to be caught in the cold like this, ever. So we come out in the spring, we come out in the fall, we make sure it's running at peak efficiency, and we help prevent things like this from happening. It's $20 a month. I can get you going on it right now. If the relationship is there, $20 is a no-brainer.
Right.
So I sell that, and now let's say that you pay them $10. You pay the CSR $10 for selling that. Now let's do the same math, all right? Let's say that they get 30 calls that are coming in a day, and 20 out of the 30, they go, you know what? I'm good. I don't need it. And you don't want to push them, right? No big deal. Right. No big deal. If you change your mind, talk to your technician about it when he's there. Done. But that means that there are 10 every day that say, well, what's your club membership?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's say that there are 2 out of the 10 that say, let's do it. How many people listening to this podcast have CSRs that are booking at least 2 service agreements a day? Chances are not many.
Yeah.
But if we can provide them with a simple way to get at least 2 a day, and that's the minimum, at least 2 a day. And if you're doing it on every call, you should have no problem getting 2 a day. You get CSR. 2 a day, exactly, per CSR. So that's $20 for the CSR each day that they just made for themselves. Yeah. That's $100 a week. That's $5,000 a year, Mandeep. Yeah. Every CSR within the sound of this podcast, when they hear that they could make an extra $5,000, they're going to ask, hey, which heating and cooling companies are paying their CSRs like that? Because that's where I want to work.
Exactly.
When you create self-reliance for a CSR where they can make as much money as they want to make, you will get them to stay there longer. And you will give them reasons to follow what we teach.
Right. And revenue is going to go up.
Yes. So they stay longer. They make you more money. Because guess what? It's not just about service agreements. Now, look, if calls are not coming in, now they have a way, a means to call out and say, hey, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. We were out to your home 6 months ago. How's everything going? Oh, it's going great. I would love to hear that. The only reason why I bring it up is because you didn't end up getting a club membership with us. I'm wondering why not. Now, look, if they say, no, it's not going amazing, guess what? You have an opportunity to send your technician out. Figure out what's going on, keep them busy as opposed to sitting washing their truck for a second time today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whenever a technician's got time to clean out his van for the second time in a day, something's wrong with that. We got to fix that.
Yep.
So if calls aren't coming in, we need CSRs to be motivated, self-motivated to call out. Now, if they're selling service agreements on those inbound calls, it's going to be very easy for them to do a happy call and do it on the outbound calls. Now, here's the other thing. If customers call in with a service call, they're looking for a service, and you look at the notes and you notice that their system itself is 10 years old. Hey, Mr. Jones, I'm looking at your notes. I noticed that you've got a system that's 10 years old now. You've gotten some great life out of it. Have you
Smart.
ever considered replacing it?
Yeah.
So we
Smart.
book a service call and then we also book a replacement call. Now, look, we pay technicians to set tech set leads all the time.
Right.
Why don't we pay our CSRs to set
Yeah. Never
tech set
thought of that. Like, yeah.
comfort advisor leads? Exactly. Let me give you another example. Let's say that the person that calls in, the homeowner that calls in, is constantly calling in for HVAC stuff, but nothing about plumbing. They might not even know we offer plumbing services.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Jones, before you go, I noticed that you always use us for heating and cooling. Have you ever considered our plumbing services? Oh, you've got a leaky toilet? Crazy. Why don't I send out a plumber? Never send out the plumber and the heating and cooling guy at the same time.
Yeah.
Two separate appointments. Should we not pay them for that?
We should.
You see, a
Yeah.
CSR doesn't have to change their position to make more money. Now you've given them a way to make money right there in that seat forever. You've basically taken a job and you've made it a career.
Yeah. Powerhouse. This is amazing. Like real life, I would say if any of home service industry owners, they are listening to this podcast and just apply, it will be a game changer. Brigham, this is really powerhouse. Just like 2 3 things.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's amazing. We're gonna wrap up with last question here. What's the most common mistake you see call handlers make when speaking with customers? Like, what's the common mistake?
So, right in the beginning, instead of giving their attention, they take information. They come out and they say, okay, what's your address? The problem with asking what's your address right out of the gate is that the customer might think, wait a minute, I've worked with them before. Why don't they already have my address?
Yeah.
Or they might say, oh, shoot, what if I'm out of their service area? You see, you cast doubt right out of the gate. Don't do that first. Meet them where they are first. Start with their end in mind first. You listen, you care, you reassure. You do those things first. You see, what we have a tendency to do as CSRs is we change the way we answer the phones for the minority of calls out of our service area, all that. We make decisions based on the minority as opposed to the majority. The majority of our calls are qualified customers. Don't try and pre-qualify them before you take care of their emotional needs.
Powerhouse. That's amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Do you have anything that you want to share with the home service industry? What's coming? I know you mentioned about technology, AI, anything that, people should be excited about Power Selling Pros?
If you know in your heart of hearts that you don't have time to spend with your CSRs like you do your technicians, get help. Get help. Give us a call at Power Selling Pros. Come to our website, click on the demo. Just go to powersellingpros.com. It's POWERSELLINGPROS.com. Click on the demo, schedule it, and let's figure out a custom plan, a custom coaching program for you and for your team.
Love it. Love it. And again, thank you for coming on my show. I'm excited to meet you at the Rilla event, Rilla the Masters. And to the listeners, if you haven't signed up, if you haven't bought the tickets, go to Rulla's website and buy your tickets. It's gonna be amazing event out there in Vegas from 24th to 26th. Brigham is speaking out there. I'm doing live podcast there with Shreya, Born for the Trades, a home service podcast. And thank you for all the love and support to our podcast. And again, thank you, Brigham. You shared amazing wealth of knowledge here. And I'm sure this is going to help, even if few home service companies, and I'm sure they'll be reaching out for help on your website to book a demo. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mandeep.